Right, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video. It is a miserable day today, but it was so needed. My carnivorous plants were like desperate for water, and the garden just needs so much water. So I'm not unhappy about the rain, and I'm sorry if you can hear it. I'm sure you can. But this is going to be a greenhouse tour, greenhouse update. I've done a greenhouse update a couple of weeks ago, and everything has grown a lot more than I thought it had. So I was waiting, I was like, how soon is too soon to do another update? But now I look at everything and it's just time for an update, especially this. So in my previous video, I planted out some potatoes, and I planted, well, I had seeds starting, and I don't really remember what else, but I'm going to show you around. I'm going to be uploading a more detailed video of my Venus flytraps, so I'm going to skim over those. So if you want to see them in closer detail, then I'll leave a link or go to my channel and find that video. It'll be up either the same day as this one or the day after. So anyway, my hanging baskets, you'll know that I've been waiting to do my hanging baskets, and my plants came and I'm not happy with them. I understand, like, they all have to be bought online at the moment because none of my garden centres near me are delivering, as far as I know. But this here is some trailing petunias, which have a nice double flowering purple bloom. And they just do not look good. They came all damaged. This one is just like, it came like that. The package was like damaged, and not happy with them, but they're going to be fine. They'll grow. They'll come back. So yeah. So I'm going to start. I don't know where to start. I'll start over this side and then we'll work our way around. And this should be quite a long video because a lot is going on. So stick around, and I hope you guys enjoy it. And please comment if you do enjoy, and let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you're growing, and obviously subscribe if you like. So I'm going to turn the camera around and we'll get going with the tour. Right, so everything is dotted around everywhere, just a pre-warning, so I'll be pointing out what's what. So down here we've got my cucumbers, which I've potted up since you last saw them. They were in tiny cells, and they're doing really well actually. They're getting their first leaves, and their second leaves are coming through, so no complaints there. It's a lot cooler today, so they're probably not enjoying the day today, but they've been doing good, except this guy. This guy has been attacked several times. There were a couple of slugs that I have since got rid of. I did lose one seedling, but all the rest are fine. Along here we have my dahlias coming up. Now I've only planted these in here to overwinter them through the winter, and I decided to allow them to grow in here because obviously extra heat and protection from slugs and frost. So I'm allowing them to grow in here. I'm then going to dig them up, transplant them and move them out. Right, and then over here we've got my agaves, so just those two, no difference there, and no difference with my lemon plant slash tree slash bush. Then I've potted up. I did want to do potting up in one of my videos, but I decided against it. So here I've just got some of my lettuces, and these are a variety, like an iceberg variety, so they'll grow a big nice ball. My potatoes here, I'm trying to keep the camera as not shaky as possible. These potatoes have absolutely shot up. I guess that's why they're called rocket. I have not been topping up the soil in there. I'm going to leave it and then see how they do. So they're going crazy. Like, look at that. It's just huge. Down here my tomatoes are all doing really well. They were really slow to start off, and I was a little bit worried that I'd just fallen quite far behind. But now they're really shooting off, so they're going to be absolutely fine, and they're going to start growing even quicker now. Behind here we have a tray that seriously needs potting up. These guys need potting out into bigger pots. These are my zucchinis or courgettes, and I have 5 of those. One of them didn't come up, but that's no problem because they usually bear a lot of fruit, and we don't often eat courgettes. So all of the beetroot here are all growing nicely, growing some true leaves, and they need transplanting out pretty soon. And then a few of onions have come up, they're looking good. My baby hellebores are here, they're looking a little bit yellow. Could be nutrient deficiency, although I don't think so. There would be no reason that it would be nutrient deficiency, but they are turning a little bit yellow, so I'm thinking maybe I'll plant those out soon. I've got one canna here, the cannas are just dotted around everywhere. So marigolds are all growing really well. This one came up super late and he's really tiny, so I don't have much hope for that one, but all of them, as you can see, are doing pretty well. Then in this tray I did pot up my oxeye daisies. Let me try and change the camera angle here. So I didn't separate them, I just left them as they were in their cells. So like in here there's 2, in there there's 2, there's 2 in that one. But they're just such hardy plants, so I'm just going to leave them, let them grow how they want to grow, and I'm probably going to grow them in these plugs for quite a while and then plant them straight out and then let them do their own thing. And they're wildflowers, so they should be very hardy. And then we've got here we have a scabious, here we have a phlox. I only had one phlox survived in the end, and one consolida in the end. So one's better than none, although I did want to create like a nice planted area with them, so it's not going to be as full as I envisioned, but one's better than none for sure. And then moving back around here, because we skipped some stuff. There's a pile of mess here, and just miscellaneous. The cannas here, I did lose one canna just through shock of transplanting. But these are all doing quite well, especially that one's doing good. You see here, like this one is a bit weedy, a little bit he's just not doing very well. I think it's just the shock of going in my bedroom that's like what, 20 something degrees constantly, to out here where it drops at night time. Over here my hanging baskets are here, they'll be potted up fairly soon, and I'm going to keep them in my greenhouse to grow them on. Here I've got the sweet peas, which have rooted into the soil and I'm scared to move them, so I'm just leaving them there until I have a place ready to plant them out. And then here I have my lemon verbena. It got very woody last year, I cut it right back and it's growing nice and fresh, so all this is ready to use, but I'm probably not going to use it. But it smells insane. If you guys are into like fizzy lemony smells, like sherbet, it literally smells like sherbet, so get a lemon verbena if you're into that, and you can use them in teas and that sort of thing. So yeah, I'd recommend it. I've not used it, but I'd recommend it just for the smell. It's like really nice. Over here I've got my Brugmansia. Unfortunately it's not grown where I wanted it to, but it started to shoot up a nice new stem there, a nice strong stem. So I'm probably going to allow that to grow and then get rid of this main stem, cut it down right low and just allow these to come up. Over here I have a mixture of things. I have my spearmint, which I actually planted outside my greenhouse, and it's worked its way in. So they recommend do not plant those out in the ground, but oh well, it's done. Damage is done. These are the consolidas. No, they're not. They are the scabious here with my tripod. I have leftover potatoes still, but I just haven't got the space to plant them. Under here the potatoes have started coming up, but they're not looking good. They're not looking like they're enjoying being under here. It doesn't get, it's not super shaded under here, it's just not as sunny as they like. So yeah, maybe they're not going to do that great, but it's a waste of space otherwise. So I thought I'd just plant them. You see they're quite yellow in the centres, and that's just not a good sign of, that's not a sign of good health. But yeah, there's weeds everywhere, ignore those. That's all I get in this garden, just millions of these. So but we've got here the erigeron, and they're really come along nicely. You can see that just looks so healthy now, and if you saw my last video, they were freshly transplanted and they looked rough, but they're doing really nicely now. They look nice and hard, like they look like they've hardened off really nicely, and they're probably going to be ready to go out within, I'd probably keep them in here for another 3 weeks, maybe 4, and then they'll be ready to go out. So this greenhouse is a mess, but it's a productive mess. The Ophiopogon here looking not very great, but that needs to be planted out as well. So once it's planted out, it's gonna really do a lot better, but for now it's existing there and that's fine. Then I'm gonna come over this way and show you here. I do have a bog planter here, which I don't really mention very much in my videos. I've got some Drosera speculata. I have a Venus flytrap here, which looking horrible. It got drowned in there for a long time. And then a huge Sarracenia here, which is actually flowering. And then a Sarracenia here. This is Sarracenia Tygo. This one is it's like a cross between something Alata and Adrian Slack, something like that. Up here I have, I'm not sure of the name of these, but these are for my hanging baskets. I bought them in tiny cells. Let me grab it. So they turned up in these tiny cells and they looked terrible. They had been battered in the post. The place I bought them from, I probably won't buy them from again, but they have been transplanted. A lot of them have, well, no, just a couple of them have are starting to look like that. Well, look like that from the postage, from the shipping. But all of them they're looking quite well. They look a lot better than they did when I first put them in there. Then up here, these Cosmos really need transplanting. You can see because they're just so limited and it gets so hot in here that like a couple of them are going to flower. So I'll be pinching them out just down here, just like that. I haven't pinched them all out yet. Oh, there's a huge caterpillar down there. I don't know if you can see that. You see him on that stem there? There's some huge caterpillar. I'll have to get that out. There he is. I'll leave him there for now, but I'll get him out and put him on something I care less about outside. Up here, I've got the bird's foot trefoils. Don't know what I'm doing with those yet. Oh, there's a little snail up there, look. See, this is a tiny snail like that. Doesn't damage a garden, but if it's in a greenhouse with loads of fresh seedlings, you just want to get rid of that. You don't want that in here. My cacti and aloe, they're looking good, looking great, haven't changed. I have here my irises. This is baby blue. There was a bloom on this one. I'll insert a picture. Beautiful, but that literally lasted 3 days. I do believe it's because they were in the heat of the greenhouse and it just couldn't really handle the heat very well. Euonymus here, doing fine. My Verbena bonariensis, the Lonicera, doing fine. The Rebekahs here, they're actually doing really nicely. I'm quite happy with these ones. These are the Cherokee Sunset variety, which is a lovely caramel chocolatey colour. And I have 3 survivors, yay. Here I have my Drosera, Bonata, and the variety name, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It's like Dictomata or something like that. Dictoma, that's the one, not Dictomata. But like these are getting huge. I didn't realise how big they were getting, but like, can you see the size of that compared to my hand? Really huge, and these are just looking insane. And I have 2 trays of these, which was, believe it or not, last year was only 1 pot. So they started out as 1 pot. I then divided them to 2, which I was then able to divide into like 14 pots. I have 2 trays of them there. I do have 1 Sarracenia here, but we'll ignore that one for now. It's looking really naff, and it had a real bad fungus problem last year. So not avoiding the elephant in the room, this bag of potatoes has grown insane, and it looks like, yeah, there's some flowers coming on there, so it's not going to be too far off of, like, there's going to be some nice potatoes in there at the moment. Obviously not fully grown, but just the size that's got. And I know it's kind of limited to light because it's in between the benches, but like, that's huge. and to think it's grown that big in such a short space of time. I brought out my pygmy sundews here, and I'll try and get a close-up image of some of these, but the detail of the dew and just how small they are, I don't know if it'll pick up, but they're just so sweet, and they're really nice, them. Love those. So I've got Drosera rosana, Drosera scorpioides, and Drosera pulchella cross nitida down there, and they are just, I love pygmy sundews. They're like an annual variety, roughly. Like they can survive more than 1 year, but they get to the end of the year and then produce gamiae, which is an asexual type of reproduction, to then which the adult plant dies. But more about that maybe in the autumn when they start doing that. But yeah, really nice. I'll do a closer up video of those if you guys would like, but for now you're just going to get a brief overview because my camera is not going to pick it up very well. Right, so to my Sarracenias, which I really ain't looking very impressive at the moment, but I have one is here getting really nice and plump. He's getting ready to open. A few of them are starting to grow some traps, but they're just going to take a long while to look impressive. This one here is a Flava Maxima, which is going to grow huge, and it looks like it's nice and thick, this little shoot. So that's probably going to come up to, I'd say, about here probably. This one over here is like doing really nicely. It sent up a flower and 3 shoots at the same time, which I believe this is a variety of Flava too. I bought the ones at the back unidentified, so I can't really tell you too much about those at the moment. But coming forwards to the more impressive specimens, we have some Drosera filiformis. You can see here, if your Drosera filiformis looks like this, you want to do something about it. That is aphid damage, and they just turn into a tangled mess where the aphids just suck all the phloem liquid out of the stems, and it just really kinks their growth. So you want to sort that out, and I'm talking to myself when I say that. But then the ones in between are doing fine, where they haven't got aphid infestation. So these two here do have aphids, the rest don't. So obviously I'm going to sort that out, but they look really nice. You can't really see it very well on camera, but they look good. And then over here is just my collection of not Drosera, Venus flytraps. So Dionaea muscipula, such a weird word to say. I've got my UK2s, which are probably looking the most impressive at the moment. You've got some really nice new leaves coming on those. And I have a new one. Actually, I think you've seen it. The Green Wizard. Have you guys seen that? I'm not sure. It's looking really naff at the moment because it's just freshly transplanted. But there's that. Down here I have my Drosera, no, not spatulata, Aliciae. Oh, one of them's actually coming to flower. Let me pick this up and show you guys. Ignore that petunia cutting in there. A bit of the petunia snapped off, so I stuck it in there and thought that might root. But the colour on those is incredible, and a couple of them, as if you can look closely, that one is going to flower. So if you don't have these, I grew these from seed, and they are a giant variety. Well, they're called giant form. I recommend those. They're so nice, just really nice to look at. I've got like Drosera spatulata, Drosera pygmy sundew, which is Spilos, more Aliciae down there, and a mixed pot down there. I'll do a closer up of these in a carnivorous plant like video. Some more marigolds here. This, I believe, is a chamomile. It's just grown by itself, but that looks like a chamomile to me. I have a single sunflower which has germinated. And then I'm trying not to shake the camera. Please let me know if it's annoying. But that is everything for now. I do have down here some more Rebekahs, which are the ones that I collected from my own plant in the garden, and I sowed them in 3 rows, and they've shot up. Obviously you see they aren't the bellis on the packet, but yeah, they're doing really good. I don't really have well, I'll probably plant those out wet with the other ones so that it kind of fills the area a bit more. But I'm going to turn the camera around. Right, so that was a super quick look at everything, and I hope the noise of the rain wasn't annoying. It did stop at some point, I don't know when, but I wasn't really paying attention. So that was a really quick look around. If you'd like to see some certain things in more detail, please do ask, and I will try to kind of fit it into a theme of video. Like I may do like a Drosera collection video. I'm going to be doing a Dionii muscipula Venus flytrap update video in a moment, so you guys are going to see them all up close and personal, and a lot of them are starting to flower, which I have plans to make the most of. So if you guys have enjoyed this, obviously leave a like, let me know what you enjoyed. And yeah, I don't really know what else to say. It's like, it's going crazy in here. I don't have compost. I have no compost. So I'm trying to leave it as long as possible before potting things into more like larger pots. But I will be including that sort of stuff in my next greenhouse update. So today it is the 27th. It's either the 26th or the 27th. No, it's the 28th today. It's the 28th of April, and this is what my greenhouse looks like. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.